Hey guys, it's Mrs. Dugan. Today we are going to really talk about what the digestive system is. So, on the last couple days, we've talked about three different systems. We've talked about the skeletal system, we talked about the muscular system, and we've talked about the nervous system. And all three of these systems are very, very connected. Okay. So if we think back to the first day when we talked about the skeletal system, one of the things that the skeletal system does is that it gives the body shape, it protects, and it is support. Okay, and there's two more, which are it stores calcium and it also produces red blood cells. But we're going to focus on the three of support, protect, and give shape. Now, if you think about movement, all right, we are moving our bones, but our bones cannot move without tendons, ligaments, and our muscles. Okay, so we have to have the muscular system in order to move our bones. Okay, the muscles are our powerhouse. However, we wouldn't be able to contract those muscles and relax those muscles without the nervous system, because the nervous system is going to coordinate all functions of the body. So it tells your brain to contract certain muscles, it tells your brain to relax certain muscles in order for your bones to move. So that's how those three are connected. Now, there's another one that's really important and is also connected, and that is the digestive system. So, the function of the digestive system is to break down food into usable nutrients for energy. Now, what we consider nutrients are three main macronutrients. So you may have heard of macros, people tracking their macros, and all that means is that they're looking at they're looking at carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And if you want to talk more about that stuff, that's my wheelhouse, so we can talk at a later date. But our digestive system takes a hamburger, okay, and it is going to break it down into these three usable macronutrients: carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Your body needs these things, and they need an efficient amount. They need all three in order to sufficiently fuel our body. And we need this energy. If you remember from our characteristics of life, we need it to grow and develop. We need it to reproduce. We need it to create new cells. We need it to do all of these things, respond to stimuli and whatnot. And our digestive system is one of the primary ways that we do that. So the organs that are major players in the digestive system are the mouth and teeth, the esophagus, the stomach, the small intestine, and the large intestine. These are our main 5 organs. Now, there are some other organs like your liver, your gallbladder, your pancreas that aid in digestion. However, digestion really occurs at these places. The gallbladder and the liver are going to excrete enzymes, and so are and bile, and the pancreas excretes enzymes that further break things down. But these organs are where digestion happens, where the other organs are just kind of aiding in it. So, how does digestion occur? Digestion starts in the mouth. Okay, so you order a wonderful hamburger. Can you tell I would like a hamburger right now? You order a hamburger at a restaurant. Okay, you can smell it coming out. You're watching the waiter bring it, and you're like, thank goodness that they are not going to miss my table for the 3rd time in a row. And they set it down in front of you. Okay, when they set it down in front of you, you can smell it. It smells delicious. Your mouth starts watering. Why is that? Well, that smell triggers certain neurons in your nose, and it sends a signal up to your brain that's like, hey, buddy, we're going to eat now. Can you start helping us? All right. So you start salivating. meaning that there's saliva in your mouth. So you pick up your hamburger, you take a big bite. Now, if you were to swallow that big bite right there, you would choke, right? So, what happens first is that you start to chew, and this chewing is going to be mechanical digestion. Mechanical digestion occurs when you physically break down the food into smaller pieces. And this is really important. One, so we don't choke, but two, also it'll help as we go down our digestive tract. So our mechanical digestion starts occurring, and but we're still salivating. And when we salivate, it has some enzymes, and enzymes are things that kind of break other things down. Okay, so enzymes are these kind of like, I always thought of them as like shovels, right? And they're breaking things down into smaller and smaller and smaller bites, and they're breaking them down at a chemical level. All right. So our saliva is chemical digestion. And chemical digestion is when something is chemical reactions break it into smaller molecules. Okay, so recap: we put the food in our mouth, we start chewing, and that's mechanical digestion. We're salivating, it's starting to break down into smaller molecules, not pieces, molecules, and that is chemical digestion. Now, we finally get to swallow and it enters our esophagus. So if we look here, here's our mouth. Okay, this long tube that goes all the way down to the stomach is our esophagus. And the esophagus is pretty much this long tube of muscle that is going to contract and push the food down to our stomach. Okay, and the pushing of the food down is called peristalsis. Peristalsis, again, is when the food is pushed down through muscle contractions down to the stomach. And peristalsis kind of looks like if you were to like take a balloon, like a one of those really skinny balloons that they make balloon animals out of, and you squeeze the top, and then the air kind of moves down, and you squeeze it again, and it moves down, and it squeezes again, and it moves down. Okay, so it's that motion from your throat all the way down your stomach. Now, once it enters the stomach, this is when chemical digestion is at an all-time high. You have stomach acid in your stomach that is going to break down anything that enters it. Okay? It's very acidic there. And that's why when you get ulcers, it hurts really badly because your stomach acid is actually eating the lining of your stomach. Okay? So chemical digestion's happening here. Your food enters your stomach and it starts churning. And as it's churning, the stomach acid is mixing with the food and it's breaking it down in these small molecules. These molecules are called carbohydrates and proteins and fats. And then all of a sudden it stops and we move into the small intestine. So we went from the stomach, this orange piece here, and we're now in these very coily, kind of gross looking things. When you think Halloween, they usually are showing the intestines, all right? And this coiled, these are like miles long. Okay, we're not talking like, oh, it's like 2 seconds. No, we have miles of intestines. So when we get into our intestines, what happens is a very important process called absorption. So if you didn't have a small intestine, you would not be able to get the energy that your body just broke down. So now that we're on the back half of digestion, we are going to take all of these nutrients that are now floating around and we're going to bring them back into the body through absorption. And the way that this happens is that in the small intestine, in the walls of the small intestines, there are these little like finger-like projections, okay? They're called villi. And villi have a lot of blood vessels and it's kind of like porous, meaning there's like little tiny holes or places. And as the food moves, these villi are trying to take up as many of those little nutrients as possible, those carbohydrates, um, the fats and the proteins, and it is trying to bring them back into the body. Okay. And as it comes back into the body, the rest of that undigested food just keeps moving on. And finally, at the end of the small intestine, it enters the large intestine. The large intestine is also very important because the large intestine is where all of your water that was in this undigested food is taken back into the body. Okay. This is a very important part to keep us hydrated it keeps us hydrated. Okay. So if you didn't have a large intestine, you wouldn't be able to stay hydrated very well. Okay. And think about it this way: if you don't pull the water back out, it's just going to leave. And I'm going to come back to that for a second after this point. After the water is extracted, then it is created, the waste is now called stool or poop, and it's excreted through the anus. So let's go back to the large intestine. So the large intestine is going to pull all of this water. Now, when you have diarrhea, okay, or we want to talk about dysentery, which is a bacterial infection, okay, what happens is that the large intestine is not pulling the water that it needs to. So when you are, if you are having diarrhea for an extended period of time, you're going to be very dehydrated because your body is expelling a lot of water every time you go to the bathroom. That's why it's really important when you're in those situations, if you have like a stomach bug or something, that you drink a lot of water because your body is not pulling the water back into the body like it should. So let's just recap. The way that digestion works is it starts in the mouth and you begin chewing. Saliva starts breaking things down and it moves into the esophagus. The esophagus constricts muscles and pushes the food down into your stomach, where the stomach acid is going to break down the food even more. It enters your small intestine, and as it does, the villi take up the nutrients and pull them back into your body. After going through the small intestine, it moves into the large intestine, which is this large thing here, also known as the colon, and the water is extracted, creating waste. The waste is then excreted, and your body takes care of it. So one thing that I'm saying is excrete, okay, and that means get rid of. Your body has a very advanced excretory system, meaning that it excretes waste. This does not just mean the digestive system. The excretory system also includes your lungs, which expels carbon dioxide. It also includes your skin, which gets rid of sweat and salt and extra water. You also have your kidneys, which are going to filter your blood, and it's going to cause you to have to go to the bathroom and go pee. So your body is very, very, very connected. And just if we think about the levels of organization, it has to be. If our digestive system doesn't work alongside our muscular system, our nervous system, and our skeletal system, us as organisms can't survive. I'm going to leave you with this. So our skeletal system gives us shape. Okay. The muscular system is going to move the bones. It's going to help us move. The nervous system is going to send messages to those muscles in order for them to move the bones. Where does the digestive system play in? Well, the digestive system gives us the energy to do those types of things. And it keeps the body at that homeostasis of water, nutrients, energy, and all of that. Okay? All right. Well, those are our notes. You do have notes that you need to copy down, and I will see y'all later. Have a great day.